What's the talk there about scheduling? Because who gets UCLA and USC in their house when the weather's awful? I'm serious. Like, how do you decide who plays USC and UCLA every year? I mean, does USC get added to the Michigan schedule? I know I got a lot of crap for saying that every major national Big Ten rivalry involves Michigan. USC is another one. How do you decide who gets to go west, who comes east, and who plays UCLA and USC every year?
Yeah, I think those are going to be the questions that everyone's going to have to figure out here in the next 2 years. Because I think with football, you don't necessarily have to be as tied to geography, right? Like, these are already schools that are crossing the country to play non-conference games. There's 3 Big Ten schools that are playing week 0. 2 of them are playing each other in Ireland this year, right? So I think you can be creative and be flexible there and create some new rivalries or have some of those iconic brands clash and not necessarily have to do like an East and a West because it's football. I think some of the other sports, there's going to need to be some creativity, especially for USC and UCLA athletes who are going to have to keep coming east. But I think you could have a lot of fun with it. I mean, again, I obviously would love to see Michigan get to play USC. I'd love to see Ohio State play USC. I mean, you don't want to load up and only give the good teams to USC either. We want to have a balanced schedule. But I think you're going to be able to play around with that. And I think, too, you're absolutely right about, like, the geography and the advantages there. I mean, I was thinking back a couple years ago when USC, the Pac-12 didn't do them any favors, and they played 12 straight weeks. And they didn't have a bye until, the end of the season, or they had it, like, week 1 or something like that, and it was just bizarre. But you're going to have, some strategic scheduling on behalf of the Big Ten. You want to put your best teams in positions to have success. So, how does that incorporate with new members that are going to be full members? They're going to get the full revenue share right away as well, by the way, for USC and UCLA. That was something Kevin Warren said today, which is a big deal. But, how do you balance that and then also give Fox and your TV partners and everyone the matchups that they want to see? And part of the reason you're adding these iconic brands is so that they do clash with your iconic brand. So I think, they have 2 years to figure all of that out and to figure out how they're going to schedule in general. Because, obviously now no one has to have divisions. So I think, hopefully there's some balance. Hopefully there's, a couple protected rivalries and you could just assign some for some of the new members. But I don't think you have to be tied to geography in the football sense, because these programs are already traveling across the country all the time.
No, I know. Somebody sitting in Ann Arbor, Columbus, Happy Valley might have to, at some point, State College, a midnight kickoff, right? Out here in the Rose Bowl or the Coliseum. Somebody's sitting there staying up till 3 a.m. watching their team play. I mean, the Big Ten's going to have a ton of windows that they haven't normally had, and that's coming down the pike. So in the meantime, I look forward to the North Face deal with the USC, the first ever such a thing, for, Patagonia UCLA deal that might be coming that never existed,
There was a really good, it was that meme of Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling in their Barbie outfits, and it was like, oh, here's USC and UCLA coming to Columbus in November, and I was like, oh, this is great. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be, that stuff's going to be fun and interesting. I mean, we always joke, like, wouldn't it be fun if, like, Alabama came and played Ohio State or something, for a home game in the playoff or something, right? But, like, I think adding the elements is going to be, there's going to be a nice wrinkle. And Kevin Warren did emphasize the fact that they'll be in 4 time zones. He did talk about those late night kickoffs on the West Coast. So, yeah, all that stuff that you just talked about, absolutely factored.
It is amazing.